on a Friday, which means I have to pay my dues for the Magic Bucket as I am dressed up like Florida Georgia Line this morning. So we'll discuss my attire, I'm sure, throughout the show today. Rocking the shades. I've got some bracelets going on. So embracing the full Tyler and Brian this morning. Let's get it going officially, Zach. Today, Zach, we react to two national analysts who make themselves look like fools when they talk about Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry's contract specifically. So we will discuss those. Then we've got a list of like 5 enemies. Titans fans have actually created and have national analyst enemies, which I think is a good thing for the growth of the franchise and the fan base. So we'll find out who is public enemy number 1 when it comes to Titans fan base. And of course, it is a Friday, so you could say it's Good Friday for me because I either look like, as Johnny says, it's Austin Rose. I mean, there's going to be a great comments about what I'm wearing today, but we'll discuss that in the show, end our week with Ain't That Good News to send everybody to the weekend. Zach, welcome in. I hope you are really enjoying this today.
Hey, props to Ian, a guy, our guy across the pond who, look, you submit things in the Magic Bucket and wishes get granted. I mean, that's essentially what it is. I
basically like Disney, wishes come true, dreams come true when you wish upon a star like the Magic Bucket.
Well, and we got FGL's bass guitarist. We'll find a name for you throughout the course of the show. Nothing is kind of stuck right now, but we'll see how your takes are. But you look good. I can't wait for the next hit song about trucks, women's legs, or
dirt.
Or dirt.
It just has to be dirt. I can make a song about that.
Well, no, FGL's already done that.
Oh.
So, right, you should know that. You're the bass guitarist. But we are going to have a fun show today already. The best part about this is the people that don't know the show, right, that like we're in a lot of people's Facebook feeds. And I'm going to ask you guys to put us in more here in a second. But the best part is when they start scrolling and they go, what the hell is this? And then they click and they're like, and we're like, Derrick Henry this, Ryan Tannehill this, who's blah, blah, and they're like, why is this guy dressed like this? So I love how people get fooled. We're gonna have a great show. Plus, I have good news. One part of my good news is giving back to a viewer that watches A to Z, and they have no idea who they are because I noticed them Monday. And they're going to get a shout out today for my good news. So, and I've never met them. I don't know them, but I do know that they watch the show, which is pretty awesome. So, great show on tap today. FGL's bass guitarist is live here on a Friday. We want you guys to share the show. Bottom right corner of your screen, if you're watching on Periscope/Twitter, you'll see those 3 little dots. Tap that bad boy and retweet the broadcast. That's the easiest way to distribute the show. We are going to have a good show today. We got to pop up in your Twitter followers timeline to retweet us. Also, Facebookers, what's going on? More people will pile in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. And as you do, bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring. If you care about Tyler, if you care about Brian, if you care about Florida Georgia Line and their next hit song, you'll share this show. We got to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. So let's get this party started.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by TennesseeTickets.com. I'm Austin Stanley, the bass guitarist for Florida Georgia Line. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at A to Z Sports, and also on Facebook at A to Z Sports Nashville. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network. We go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and for you guys. RentersWarehouse.com, the professional landlords in the Nashville area. RentersWarehouse.com is where to go to find out how much your home can rent for. Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness. Your first workout is absolutely free. And it's only a 15-minute workout at mandu.com. The Tucker Agency, Nashville's independent insurance agency, TuckerTN.com to save yourself some money. CalvinandSuttle.com for your hardwood flooring and finishing needs. And, of course, the Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. boneandjointtn.org is their website, and you can check them out for any of your sports medicine or orthopedic needs from beginning to end there, boneandjointtn.org. All right, Zach, do you want me to describe what I'm doing today and what I actually have on, or do you want to jump into the fools that don't? I mean, I look like a fool. So
the
overall theme of the show is fool today.
Hey, anything goes. So yeah, let's describe your costume, and then we'll get into the buffoonery of Colin Cowherd and
Yes.
Nick Wright and what they said about the Titans yesterday, which we had people reach out to us on Twitter saying, look at these people. Why are they talking like this about the Titans when they don't understand them?
Yeah, well, Matt just says, this is just how I roll. Matt says there. Dustin says, Austin, you might want to show that to your wife. She actually helped me with this. This is her necklace that I borrowed last night. She helped me out. I got some beads here, the bracelet beads going on. This is another bracelet, but it actually is just something to help tell temperature on your wine bottles. But I think it works here.
Great coronavirus season.
Yes. I got the V-neck, got the shades, got the hair splashed up with the gel. And this is actually a headband from a pirate Halloween costume. But I feel like I did a good job.
I agree. I would compliment you. I think you took this and you did an excellent job.
Thank you.
So props.
And I also have all of my wedding rings, rubber, silicone, and the real one on because I feel like a pinky ring is necessary.
So here's what you got to do. The key is having that index finger ring because that makes no effing sense.
I don't have rings that are big enough for that.
But that's the one thing I don't understand about guys that wear jewelry and rings.
Yeah.
I mean, they do it. I don't understand the douchiness of putting a ring on your index finger. It makes no sense.
Correct. And that's the theme of this is this morning and last night when we were discussing how I was going to do this, the whole goal was how can I look like a big douche? It's not like trying to look like country music. You try to Google image what they wear on stage, but the goal is to look like the biggest douche you could possibly look like. And I feel like I've achieved it.
Well,
I don't have earrings, but that would have been a nice touch.
Yeah, this is how you roll. And you spot on. So let's get to the show. We've got a lot to talk about and a lot to hear from Colin Cowherd and Nick Wright.
Yeah, for sure. So let's dive into this just full head of steam because obviously we had a huge show yesterday and a lot of content around all of our social media platforms reacting to Derrick Henry's contract that was signed this past week or earlier this week. So I do think Colin Cowherd makes some good points overall about Derrick Henry, but he also does some really dumb things when it comes to Derrick Henry. So he had like a 3.5-minute segment about Derrick Henry. And we're going to play a couple clips of that. But first, this is the one that I heard Colin Cowherd say that just absolutely made no sense and really pissed me off.
He's had a great last 19 games. That's a little more than a season. In those 19 games, he's been a bull. He's averaged 112 yards a game. And with Ryan Tannehill, I like the fact you have a real big-time running back. It's nice. I don't think Tannehill's a game changer. But, Colin was very good in the playoffs. Those games are not on the schedule. You have no idea if you're getting into the playoffs. Lamar Jackson's 0-2 in the playoffs. But this time, next year, he'll have a brand-new contract if he's 0-3 in the playoffs. I'm paying my guys. Can they win the division? On the 16 games the NFL gives me, is my guy instrumental in winning my division and getting to the playoffs, and as an owner, getting me a home game in the playoffs? Because I can pay for a lot of contracts with that extra home game where I make $15 million, $20 million bucks a home game. On average, that's what Dallas makes, way more than that, but you make 10, 12, 15 million bucks, 20 million bucks a home game. You get me a home game, but those aren't guaranteed on the schedule. I'm not paying you for a great playoff run of 2 games.
Wow. Well, look, that's Colin Cowherd's take. And I think what he did, he took the money ownership route instead of winning Super Bowl route, which you can't have both because most of the time he goes Super Bowl winning route as the elitist liking Tom Brady and all the others, right? You can do that, but stick with your stick. And that was my issue with this. He didn't stick with his shtick.
And that I tweeted this out yesterday when I saw that. That is the perfect example of analysts and national media members who their entire shtick is to be the opposite of what the general public is. And this is when that goes too far. And when you're trying too hard, way too hard to go against the grain, you sound like a doofus. You sound like a dunce because in Colin Cowherd's opinion, Peyton Manning and Dan Marino are the best quarterbacks in the NFL's history. Not Tom Brady, not Joe Montana, the guys who actually won the most rings, but it's Peyton Manning and Dan Marino because they won regular season games. And so that's what doesn't make any sense to me is, and really, Derrick Henry did help the Titans get into the playoffs. He helped them win games in the playoffs because the ultimate goal, obviously, is to win your division. He's not wrong about that. But the ultimate goal for everybody is to hoist the Lombardi trophy, and you can't do that if you're just a regular season champion. Like, why would you – he actually said he would rather win division titles than pay somebody who can help them win a Super Bowl. That's the gist of Colin Cowherd's point.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And if he knew, and here's where we always struggle. I struggle, you struggle, and our listeners struggle with listening to national analysts talk about the Titans because they didn't watch all the games. They just didn't. There's no way that Colin Cowherd watched every single – he didn't watch Titans-Bills early in the season. I know he didn't because it wasn't a very good game to watch. I know he didn't watch that game. So, like, that's the issue. If he was smart and he actually knew that, doing your research, going back and watching the film or the tape or the games in general, he would know that Derrick Henry actually did that 2 years ago. It was because, and I love saying this, it was because Mariota's sitting his ass on the sidelines of why they didn't get in the playoffs. Derrick Henry did everything possible to get them to the playoffs. It was just a problem that on Sunday Night Football, Andrew Luck beat the Titans. Last year, he did the same damn thing. When they needed a win in Houston, he broke the NFL rushing record for the season, right? Like,
yeah,
that. He's doing everything of the reason why you pay somebody.
Yeah.
He is doing. And to your point, when you get in the playoffs, that's where you earn the money. $20 million for a home playoff game. You're absolutely correct. But if you get to the AFC Championship game and lose, we talked a lot about this yesterday, you didn't, and a lot of other people don't even remember who Phillip Rivers lost to in his two respected AFC Championship games. And I go back to nobody cares, work harder until you get a Super Bowl. That's the philosophy. And so I was out on Colin Cowherd's take right there.
All right, A to Z Sports, let's get you guys more involved. We got to read some comments because there are some great comments, especially about what the hell I'm wearing today. So what's your reaction to Colin Cowherd's take about Derrick Henry and his new contract with the Titans? But first, Zach, tell people about calvinandsettle.com.
Yeah, I absolutely will. I've got a really good comment. It's maybe in the running for the love of the show. I'll tell you that.
Early love.
Early love. And look, we're spreading a lot of love here on this Friday, cruising on down this show. But first, I got to tell you, you could cruise on over to Calvin and Subtle, give them a call, give them a ring-a-ding-ding. They'll be spitting fire on the phone, giving you the best hardwood floors possible here in Middle Tennessee. 615-448-6414. You give them a call, and what do? They come out to your house. They assess, do you need new hardwood floors in your kitchen, your bedroom, your basement, whatever you need. You pick out your perfect sample. They come in, order the material, and 1 to 2 weeks, they install. Calvin and Subtle, tell them A to Z Sports send you. They'll give you an even better deal. 615-448-6414.
A to Z Sports here live on a Friday. Don't forget, shop.atozsportsnashville.com. Promo code AZ30 for 30% off anything you want to get there from our shop site. AZ30 for 30% off at shop.atozsportsnashville.com. The question we're asking you guys is, what, in your opinion, how do you react to Colin Cowherd's take about Derrick Henry and his contract? Jesse Jones said, just got here. What did dude say? Basically, Colin Cowherd says that he wouldn't pay people for winning playoff games. He would pay them for winning regular season titles. That sounds a lot like Butch Jones to me. That's something Butch Jones would do. And I will say, I've got a segment of where Colin was right and where he was wrong. Colin Cowherd was right about Butch Jones being a gym teacher a few years back, but he's very wrong about Derrick Henry and the Titan situation with this contract.
Let me dish out the love of the show.
Okay.
It's early. We're just getting started. We're just getting our roll on, but it's Weston. He's a top fan and he knows what he's talking about. This is one of many reasons why I think John Robinson signed. I think Derrick Henry, as we talked to him yesterday in the press conference, he just wanted to get the deal done. I mean, you could hear that in his voice. Coronavirus, a lot of other things. He wanted to just get the deal done and get it signed. He didn't want to play under a franchise tag. He would have, but he didn't want to. That's why the Titans, and we talked about it, the Titans won that contract. But what Weston brings up is Derrick Henry doesn't just help the offense. He helps the defense. He doesn't just give them a break. He actually takes clock away from the other quarterback. And Weston, there's no greater example of that. Way to go, buddy, because you hit the nail on the head. There's no greater example of that than beating the New England Patriots in the playoffs. Derrick Henry combined with Mike Vrabel outsmarting and using the rules to his advantage and his offense to take clock away from Tom Brady. And you're going to have to do that because you got really good quarterbacks in the NFL that you're going to face. That's what Derrick Henry does that goes unnoticed. You see the long runs. You see the screen passes go for 75 yards. But the time and the clock consumption is massive in the way that the Titans want to and can and have shown they can win games.
All right, A to Z Sports, getting to more of your comments. John Michael Presley says, man, I can't believe he really says the regular season means more than the playoffs.
He basically said that.
That's what was my take about his take, is that this is what happens when people try too hard to go against the grain and try to be different. Because look, Colin Cowherd has made his career on finding different ways to talk about sports, but this is when he misses. He definitely misses for sure. Tehran says, these morons, Tehran going strong with morons. These morons make these comments to get reaction because their sports knowledge is severely lacking. And we know this. We know that, as you've already mentioned, Zach, Colin Cowherd doesn't pay attention to the Titans on a weekly basis. He might pay attention to them when they play against the Eagles or the Patriots or the Cowboys in the regular season, but he's not watching the Titans on a week-to-week basis. And so Derrick Henry, the dumb thing about his whole take is he also compared Derrick Henry getting paid to Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson getting paid.
There's a different. They added a zero. Different. Like they're in a whole different pantheon.
Right. And we're going to get into Nick Wright and his complete dumbassery that he had to say later in the show. But Colin Cowherd just so off base with those things that he said. Now, I do have, Zach, some words from Colin that I do agree with. Are you ready for those?
Yes.
Okay, so I actually do agree with some of the things that you're about to hear from Colin Cowherd about the truth about Derrick Henry.
But here's the actual truth on Derrick Henry. He was close to a middle second-round pick. He was only really the guy at Alabama for 1 year. He didn't start for the Titans for the first 2 years. By the third year, he was splitting time early, and he can't catch the ball much. He's not really a threat to catch the ball. Zeke in Dallas, McCaffrey with Carolina, and Saquon Barkley were all top 8 picks. They were better NFL prospects. They're all significantly better catchers of the football out of the backfield in an increasingly passing league. They're better players. They are. And they're better prospects, and they should be paid higher, and they all are.
So here's my problem with that, Austin, is what he did not realize is what Derrick Henry does, what those guys cannot. And Derrick Henry, you talk about controlling the clock and the way the Titans want to play. The Titans want to play a certain style. All of the other teams don't want to play that style. That's the difference.
And I will say this, is that Colin, in that 45 seconds that I just played to you guys, he was wrong and right within that. And so where he was wrong, saying that he was only the guy at Alabama for 1 year, that's so irrelevant because in that 1 year, Derrick Henry won the freaking Heisman Trophy. So that's ridiculous. He was right about the Titans in the first 2 years, he was a backup. Now you can argue why he was a backup the second year, because DeMarco Murray was diminishing a little bit, but they trusted DeMarco more when the ball wasn't going directly to DeMarco.
They played favoritism to his veteranship. That's what happened. Ask Mike Malarkey. We saw it.
And maybe so. And maybe that's part of it. He was splitting time in 2018 with Dion Lewis. And against the Patriots, Derrick Henry was given a benched. And so they could give carries to David Llewellyn before he got hurt. And then the switch turned. And since then, Derrick Henry, as Colin put, has been a bull for the last 19 plus games. Derrick Henry has turned something on. And Derrick Henry is not Christian McCaffrey or Zeke or Gurley or whoever else you want to talk about, the highest paid guys. But he is that valuable to the Titans. And really, when you look at the contract, he's not being paid like those guys. And for the Tennessee Titans, it looks fantastic.
I think he conceded. I think Derrick Henry conceded. And it's not a call out of Derrick Henry. I told you yesterday, I don't think he was willing to fight for more money for the long haul. And that's his prerogative, right? And Titans fans, and I think the Titans are going to benefit off of that, right? Tom Brady did a very similar thing late in his career to win Super Bowls. He was the best quarterback of all time, the best quarterback in the league, and he was not getting paid even close to that. Derrick Henry didn't want to fight the long fight. He signed the contract at the 11th hour. He told his agent, I don't care. I'm going to sign it. And you know what? The Titans are reaping the benefit of it. But you cannot tell me Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, and Christian McCaffrey do all of the things that their team wants them to do. Derrick Henry does all of the things that his team wants him to do. They're completely different, though. So you can't sit there and mix words and say, I think, and this is my personal opinion, Derrick Henry is worth and the value to the Titans just as much as all of those top paid running backs.
So, but let me say at this point, you're right. Derrick Henry does everything the Titans ask him to do, just like McCaffrey does for the Panthers and Zeke does for the Cowboys, right? But they do more than Derrick Henry. Time out.
The team doesn't ask them to do more.
But the team has to have somebody else do what they don't ask Henry to do, and that costs a little bit of money. It has been costing way too much money because Dion Lewis was getting paid. But for the Titan situation, because they don't ask Derrick Henry to do everything, they have to allocate dollars under the salary cap for somebody else to do those jobs that Henry doesn't do, which is fine because right now they got Darrington Evans on a cheap third-round rookie contract, and hopefully he is miles better than what Dion Lewis was doing the last 2 years.
Before we hear Nick Wright, I do want to bring up TD's point. He says, in the end, both sides know they're best for each other. And we've talked a lot about that point because the Titans want to run the football. Derrick Henry wants to run the football. So they're really a match made in heaven. And I talked about luck. I don't want to call it complete luck because I don't think that's the right term. John Robinson picked Derrick Henry in the second round because he targeted his mindset, where he came from of Alabama, the work ethic that he has, and that mixed perfectly and blended when they wanted to come to a contract agreement. So both sides won. They both want to run the football. Derrick Henry gets more money than he got last year. And he's going to get like $30 million in 2 years, right? Like we're not sitting here. He's not going to have to beg for pennies on the street or sell newspapers. Like he got paid. Mm-hmm. He's just not in the same echelon as far as worth and money as Christian McCaffrey and Ezekiel Elliott.
This is funny because I think Teron's got a good point here. He says it's the minivan analogy. A family man will value a minivan, but a bachelor won't.
Very fair, but it takes the type of person, right? It's the mindset, and that he's spot on right there. And you don't get a lot of.
And Tress says Tress is a minivan guy, apparently. So there's something we know about Tress.
Well, in today's age of football and social media, the likeliness that you're going to get a diva on your team is a lot higher, right? But if you look at the Titans, probably the biggest diva is A.J. Brown, and he backed that stuff up. You can be a diva, and you can be that shine guy if you back it up. But he's the only guy that would probably be more, and I love the swag that he portrays. You know I love A.J. Brown.
Sure.
And I think that this team needed that. But if he came out and had Tajay Sharp like rookie year numbers, you can't really grow that patch in the back of your head, right? But but you can have a rat tail if you have 1,000-yard season and you're in the running for rookie of the year.
Yeah, and Josh brings something up that I wanted to bring up yesterday, but it slipped my mind when I was talking about how this Derrick Henry contract is some of John Robinson's best work.
Wow.
And and this is huge. That Josh is right. They're paying Derrick Henry less than they paid Chris Johnson almost 10 years ago. In 2011, Chris Johnson got a 4-year deal for $53.5 million and $30 million guaranteed.
That's mind-blowing.
Same length. The overall total is different, but the guaranteed money difference is huge from Chris Johnson to Derrick Henry. Now, we do have to remember this, because Chris Johnson, I believe at that point, actually, I have the numbers right here. Chris Johnson played 3 seasons with the Tennessee Titans, and all 3 seasons were well over 1,000 yards rushing, including one of them 2,000 yards. So Chris Johnson was way more productive than Derrick Henry was in Derrick Henry's first season, even though they each had a year where they led the NFL in rushing. But I do think that's a good example of how the NFL has developed, where in 2011, the highest paid running back is the 6th highest paid running back in 2020.
And we all know what has happened to and tons of people are chiming in on the comments. Everybody knows what has happened to the running back position in 10 years. In 10 years, it has been devalued like you've never believed, right? But you still will always, in the NFL, always, for the history of time, you always have those 5 just cowbell backs. I mean, they are just that they are going to be the best, and they are going to drive their team, right? So Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans are a part of those 5.
All right, Zach, we've saved the dumbest for last.
I haven't even gotten started on this before.
We as a show, especially me as Florida Georgia Lions bass guitarist today, are going to not hold any punches when it comes to Nick Wright's opinion about the Titans and about Derrick Henry's contract. So brace yourself for this. But first, let me make sure to tell you guys about our friends at Renters Warehouse. Nashville's professional landlords, renterswarehouse.com is where to go to find out how much your home can rent for. There's so many different ways that Renters Warehouse can help you out during these pandemic times to help you save some money, create some new income, because everybody needs to create some new income right now. Renterswarehouse.com is where to go.
I'm racking my brain, and we're going to hear Nick Wright, but keep thinking of this, guys, because right before we get to good news, we're going to try to come up with Austin's name, FGL's bass guitarist, what his stage name would be. I've got one in the holster. We'll save that, but kind of be stewing. The Magic Bucket made him do this today. I had to dress up as Jimmy Buffett's crony probably a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
his parrot head. But let's get to Nick Wright, because this guy, let's just hear him out, and then we'll react. That's the only fair way.
I don't know why it's not playing for me.
Well, we got some technical difficulties there with old Axel.
Yeah, it pulled up, and it wasn't going to play. Come on, right? You son of a, hold on.
Axel Stanfield. That was my first thing that came to mind is Axel Stanfield. You got to get these technical difficulties. The IT guy can't jump through the window. I can't jump through the window and help you.
You know what this is? It's the one time you actually want QuickTime Player to play automatically, and it doesn't do it.
That is funny.
Or too self-congratulatory. But the Titans signing Derrick Henry work out well to a 4-year, $50 million deal is why Nick Wright, myself, should be a general manager in the NFL. This is so dumb. And it is why certain teams are just stuck on the treadmill. It's nothing against Derrick Henry, but the Titans, their 2 best offensive players, Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry. The whole world said, Buyer beware on giving Tannehill $92 million guaranteed as you did $30 million a year. Their justification was, well, we can't franchise him because we have to franchise the running back because you don't want to pay the running back a bunch of money. So they give Tannehill 3 years, basically fully guaranteed at $30 million per. It's going to kill him, so they can franchise Derrick Henry. And then the last minute, they're like, "Yeah, we don't even need to franchise Derrick Henry." The hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You're in the AFC Championship game. It's so bad. And by the way, a third of the GMs in the league looked at this and like, good move. Bell cow running back, 3 yards. It's so dumb. And I don't understand how this league hasn't evolved. So yeah, it's why I should be a GM, not a scout. Can't pick players out of college, Brian, but I can at least be your capologist. At the very least, I can be your capologist, Brian.
At the very least, you can be fired. That's really what you could do. That makes no sense. He did not prove any point. You know what we need to pull up? And I don't have it on me right now, but we need to pull up. That is the dumbest thing that anybody has ever heard. And may God have mercy on your soul, Nick, right? We are all stupider now that you said all of that jargon. He tried to justify not paying them or trying not to pay them, but they were in the AFC Championship game like that was a bad thing.
Yeah, he contradicted himself. Like, and I don't know if he caught it or not. I mean, after he said, "You're in the AFC Championship game," he kind of like paused, and I think there was like, oh, wait, hold on. I think he thought about that in his head during the whole spew where he was just not right whatsoever.
And that's the problem with what we do. You can go back. You can know we had technical difficulties because the computer probably didn't want to hear Nick Wright mess up.
Yes.
Right? But we all know that Nick Wright in that, 50-second clip, he has no idea what he's talking about. And it's unfortunate. So here's my little spiel on Nick Wright. All right. I followed Nick Wright I used to go on. I thought he was good at one point, right? I thought he was well thought out. I think he's good at diagnosing the NBA at times, right? I think that is his expertise. But the problem with FS1 and ESPN, they put Stephen A. Smith in a position to say a guy's going to play who has a torn ACL like Hunter Henry a couple of years ago, right? They put them in bad positions, and these guys, as TD said, they're morons, right? They don't have the sports knowledge to speak on everything. And so what do they try to do? They just try to boast. And they say, look how good and how big and how smart I am, even though they say idiotic things. The other thing that I have a big-time problem with Nick Wright, and maybe it's FS1 and their producers or their executives, why have they made him into a full-fledged Kansas City Chiefs fan? I know he's from Kansas City, but he looks like he's in his parents' basement. That looks like my grade school room when the Bucks won the Super Bowl, or were like in 1999, 2000, like when I was in like 8th grade. Like that looks like my room. Like, let me point this out. What the F is this? Like, please, champs, Super Bowl, like newspapers, Kansas City, like you're a professional. Go buy, like, be like Adam Schefter at
least. Where's the bookcase?
Buy a damn bookcase. Even though you don't read a damn book, at least try to like portray that you're smarter than an 8th grade fanboy where their favorite team just won the Super Bowl. And this happened all of a sudden. It wasn't like we've all known Nick Wright has been this huge Chiefs fan for all of mankind. Where were you when Alex Smith was with the team? You sure were in your parents' basement with newspaper clippings pasted on your wall. Like, dude, you're wearing a suit. Find a new wall.
I also guarantee there's no way Nick Wright is wearing pants. He is just doing t-shirt with a suit jacket. He's in his boxers because there's no way that guy's actually wearing pants in that bedroom setup that he's in.
It's mind-blowing. Like, it's not a good look. Like, for a national analyst, like, here, example. We own our own company. I can say whatever the F I want in this program. I wear A to Z Sports. Once you start working for the man, and he's working for FS1, and he's paid handsomely. If you're paid like that, act like it. Don't look like you are in your parents' basement. That's my biggest problem with Nick Wright. And he did this while saying something as stupid as we just heard by trying to justify not paying people when you just went to the AFC Championship game.
He made 0 cents or 0 points in his entire 90 seconds because he said that he should be a GM. And then he talked about how everything they did was bad. And he also, maybe not your GM or scout, I should at least be your capologist, when he doesn't realize that the way that the contracts were put together by Titans capologist Vin Marino, who does a really good job, he actually, tagging Derrick Henry saved them at least $5 million a year compared to Ezekiel Elliott, right? Then signing Ryan Tannehill saved them $5 million compared to tagging Ryan Tannehill. Then they extended Derrick Henry and they saved another $4 million. So in 2 weeks, when I'm predicting John Robinson goes out and signs Jadeveon Clowney, he's able to do that because he actually extended Tannehill and Derrick Henry. But capologist Nick Dumbass doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about.
If you would have looked at the numbers, and if Derrick Henry was willing to sign the contract he signed, and you are a GM, Nick Wright, I'm talking to you, you literally cannot not sign him. It's a dream deal for a team. It is a dream scenario. You just signed the NFL's leading rusher to a team-friendly 4-year contract.
He didn't look at the contract. He just didn't look at it.
What the F? It doesn't make any sense. You can't have that take. You cannot. It's like arguing something that is so simple and just to argue, and they do that a lot on FS1. And look, we're in the same position. There's not sports. But when there is sports like signings, at least do your homework. And you can do your homework in your parents' basement.
He didn't look at it because if you look at the contract and you see that this is actually pretty sweet for the Titans, it's basically the same as a 2-year back-to-back franchise tag. And then Derrick Henry gets a few more $1 million at the end of it. Nick Wright looks like an absolute fool. I think Nick Wright looks like a bigger fool than I do today. I mean, there's no. I look like an absolute douche.
I would agree.
Nick Wright makes me look like a sweet little innocent child.
I agree because I at least you can look like that, but if you can state some really good points on what you do, the issue that I have is this is his career, right? This is what he is very good at doing. And Nick Wright has some talent. I compliment him. I think he does know about the NBA. I think he's forced into this world of FS1 of Hot Take Central. He does it though, right? He's the puppet,
right?
But you have to be educated on your puppetry.
Now here we go. So this is why you guys who watch our show are very smart, because Hunter Morgan says Nick Wright versus Rank versus Geoff. Well, Hunter, that's our next topic, and we're not going to leave it at just those 3. I've got 5 guys, and we want to know from you guys, who is public enemy number 1 for the Titans fan base? Is it Geoff Schwartz, Adam Rank, Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd, or Deion Sanders? Because we all forget Deion Sanders calling Kevin Byard just the fan just a couple years ago, and now that fan is one of the highest paid safeties in the NFL. So who is public enemy number 1 for the Titans fan base? We've got these 5 options. Get your answers in. If you want to have a write-in, you can. But Zach, talk about Tucker TN first.
Yeah, Tucker TN, you can write in that you just made a little bit more money by calling him or by emailing him. Will@tuckertn.com. Will and his team will help you. The reason why we sign them up in this coronavirusville that we live in is people are losing income, right? It's tough. The economy is not right here in Nashville. Hell, you can't go to a bar till the end of the month. You may have lost some income, but be smart and strategize. You have homeowners insurance if you own a house. You should have renter's insurance if you rent. You have car insurance if you're driving. You should have life insurance if you got kids, or if you're just that's a personal preference. But those are umbrellaed, right? There's a policy. Email Will at tuckertn.com. Say, heard about you on A to Z Sports. How can I save money on my insurance? It's that simple. You literally should do it. It doesn't make any sense not to do it. Average customer, when they email Will at tuckertn.com, they save 20%. 20%, that's money in the bank for bills, for food on the table, for whatever. Will at tuckertn.com.
All right, A to Z Sports, while we got you, don't forget AZ30 for 30% off anything at shop.azsportsnashville.com. That's promo code AZ30 at checkout for 30% off. We've got hats, short sleeve shirts, long sleeve shirts, golf shirts that are great as well. So shop.azsportsnashville.com, code AZ30. So the question is, who is public enemy number one for the Titans fan base? We've got 5 options. Geoff Schwartz, Adam Rank, also known as Adam Stank, Nick Very Wrong, Colin Cowter. They all got nicknames. And then Deion Backpedal Sanders. So I think – do you want to read comments first?
Yeah, let me read because there are a ton
of comments.
And I love this. This is why we do what we do, is to give you guys a voice. So let's go through them. Kelkins goes with Adam Rank. Sumner Moore says Geoff. Got to go with Geoff Schwartz. Eat my shorts. Jeff says Adam Rank. Steph says Schwartz. Geoff Schwartz from Kernick. Buckeye DK says white bald guy. I can't remember his name. I hate that guy. I don't know which one he's talking about.
I think that's Adam Rank.
Is that? Oh, yeah, that is Adam Rank.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tevrin says all of them. Jeff says Geoff, which is kind of funny. Jeff does spell his name the correct way. Trevor says Geoff by far. All of the above from Matt. Weston says Adam Rank. Truck says Cowherd lights the Titans a little. I would give him that. I think out of all of these, Cowherd's probably the least likely to be picked because he does get some credit. He likes Vrabel because he's a former Patriot, right?
Correct.
He does like that. I think he likes the city of Nashville, but he also understands it's a small market.
He understands that Nashville and the Tennessee Titans, the Tennessee anything, and the Nashville Predators anything does nothing for him sitting in his elevated desk in LA.
Correct. So I'm with you there. Cody says Jeff. John says Jeff. Not a fan. Colleen Wolf. We got a write in from Turner.
Colleen Wolf. What does Colleen Wolf do that makes it?
She said something. I can't remember. I think it was during the playoff run that really stirred up some Titans fans. Rashad just says the national media. Ivan says Rank. Deion because he has more airtime and more chances. No,
Deion actually has the least amount of airtime of any of these guys because Deion primetime only works during the season. Deion's by far the laziest of the 5.
Darren says Adam. Kernick says his right end is Buck Rising. And this is actually pretty good. Giving Buck some shade on a Friday. Kernick, you may get a like for that. Look, I respect because Buck speaks his mind, right? Yeah. We let Buck do what Buck wants to do because that's the show, right?
And Buck's right about a lot of things.
But he's also wrong about the Derrick Henry thing, and he had to eat some crow. Yeah. You know what he did? He had Instagram guys going at him, and Buck, he ponied up and sacked up and said, look, I was wrong. So we all have to do that sometimes. I was wrong on Christian McCaffrey. My man Axel Stanfield over there was dead wrong on Derrick Henry. So it happens, right? But at least stand up. So Austin, out of all of these choices between Geoff Schwartz, Adam Stank, Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd, or Deion Sanders, who do you pick?
I'm going to eliminate Deion Sanders because he is not as frequent in the media, and he's also not coming at Titans players as frequent.
Well, you have to. I think it's fair to eliminate him. He backpedaled, right? That's the saying.
Yeah.
Once Kevin Byard actually started to be noticed, and I think Deion had the oh crap moment where he was like, oh god, he's actually really really good. Now he's a 91 on Madden, top 5 safety. Like you cannot sit there and say, I don't know who Kevin Byard is, because Kevin Byard has made people know who he is.
Sure. So I'm eliminating Deion Sanders. I'm also going to eliminate Colin Cowherd because I think Colin Cowherd, in the 3.5 minutes that he talked about the Derrick Henry contract yesterday, he said some pretty good things about the Titans as a whole, about their direction, about their style, and that they can be successful and that Henry and the Titans are a good fit. So he just tried too hard yesterday, which is why we talked about this, and he looked like a fool. Now I'm down between Geoff Schwartz, Nick Wright, and Adam Rank. Adam Rank had probably had the biggest number one hit of all of these three. And people won't forget that.
You know something about that, being the bass guitarist.
Yes, right. Yeah. Adam Rank has the biggest hit. Nick Wright is probably third because he's also on FS1 and is not talked about. But Geoff Schwartz just keeps swinging. And so I think currently public enemy number one for the Titans fan base is Geoff Schwartz because he won't stop. Like Nick Wright probably won't talk about the Titans for another month. Adam Rank, I don't think, has really talked about the Titans since he picked them to go 3-13 last year. So Geoff Schwartz is just out here just taking big swings at Titans fans because that's the only way he can stay relevant.
Yeah, so I think you're going on current emotion based on that because that just happened, which is understandable.
It just happened again. This has been going on for 4 years, Zach, because why does Geoff Schwartz hate the Titans and why does he hold a grudge? Because his brother Mitchell Schwartz did not get named All-Pro right tackle almost 5 years ago when Jack Conklin did. Jack Conklin got All-Pro ahead of his brother Mitch, and he's held a grudge ever since then because after that happened, he just downgraded Jack Conklin, said that no other right tackle has had as much help as Jack Conklin has, but provided zero film breakdown to back that up and just spouted that off. And ever since then, he has completely Schwartzed all over anything Titans.
Yeah, so if we're talking about the three, we just got to call them like we see them. Nick Wright, Geoff Schwartz, and Adam Rank are all attention whores. That's what they want. They know they're trolls, right? Nick Wright, I got to dismiss, like you said, because I don't think he's going to be talking. He's going to be talking about James Harden here in a couple of weeks, right? Like, and it's going to go all NBA, and he's a puppet. And I understand that Nick Wright gets paid a lot more than Adam Stank or Geoff Schwartz, right? He's on a bigger network. He's got a morning show, and he does what he's told to do, right? So, and he's really bad at that at times. So I'm going to push Nick Wright away. It's between Schwartz and Stank. So here's where I'm at. I'm opposite of you. I go Adam Rank because Adam Rank realized early on what the Titans fan base can do, right? Like Titans fan base is subtle. Like they rigged that, they and RIP Matt Neely, I think he had a portion of doing this, he rigged and got all of the Titans to rig the Fox, NFL on Fox poll of who is the most passionate fan base. And as the lowest seed, the Titans got to the championship because he rigged the vote. And it was hilarious, right?
Yeah.
That's outsmarting your competition, right? So, and Adam Stank realized that. I don't like Adam. They're both shtick guys. I don't have any respect for shtick guys. Say what you mean and mean what you say. I think I have a problem, and I think Adam Rank is enemy number one. He was the first one to troll him, and then he went back and trolled him again. Schwartz, this is kind of the first thing. Schwartz made a mistake the first time, right? He was incorrect about Jarrell Casey. He mistaked him for Daquan Jones. That was on him. So if he hadn't have done that, if he had not have made that mistake and gotten called out, I don't think Geoff Schwartz calls the Titans fan base delusional.
But he didn't know he would have because he's been Zach, I'm telling you.
He went into panic mode.
No, absolutely. But he's been going after Titans fans for all of 2020 because this started in the playoffs when he had some strong words about the Titans. I think he called the Titans went over the Patriots cute or something like that, and that they were about to get blasted by the Ravens, and then they didn't. And so Geoff Schwartz has been going at the Titans and at the Titans fans in Twitter for the better part of 4 years.
But Adam Rank, I have a problem with.
Jeff Schwartz is the smallest out of all of these 5.
And I think I don't know how Adam Rank is big.
Because he's a fantasy football guy. And fantasy football guys have so huge numbers because everybody minus me really loves playing fantasy football. So
I go Adam Rank, you go Jeff Schwartz.
It's Jeff Schwartz.
It's close, but I think it's Adam Rank. He's so sitcom-y, right? Like he's not serious. I don't believe it's a shtick.
He claims himself to be a comedian.
And he's not funny. But
Agreed.
I don't go, and I don't think a lot of fans go to, like, there's not a lot, like, you're not going to go to Rob Riggle to get good sports information. You're going to go to Rob Riggle to have some laughs, right? But you don't, where it doesn't even out is Adam Rank is trying to be an analyst, but he's also trying to be a comedian.
Well, so
that doesn't blend.
So Titans 212 says that 3-13 from Rank won't go away, unlike what Jeff Schwartz said.
Fair. That's the reason why. That's
why I said Adam Rank had the biggest hit.
Because it's the most disrespectful that you can be, and the fact that he didn't own up to it, he tried to turn around and say, "Well, the only reason why I predicted that was because of Mariota and all this stuff." And he sat there and said, "I love Mariota and I love Lawan." At the end of that video,
that's a loss. That's a loss. That's a loss. That's a loss. Another loss. Another loss. You know,
he said they were going to lose their last 8 games.
Yeah,
and they
it was
did literally the complete opposite.
It was pretty damn stupid. So I want to bring up Louis. Louis says Nate Burleson from NFL Network sticks up for Titans fans. Well, Nate and Kyle Brandt and Peter Schrager and Tay Adams, they do the Good Morning Football show, which is basically a window for content to be created about all 32 NFL teams that they can share on their own promotional stuff on all their own social media. It's a promotional video show. That's what Good Morning Football is. And I am very entertained by a lot of the things they do, but they are like John Gruden. I love this guy. They love everybody. They don't dislike anybody. Now, they will call out. Kyle Brandt called out Lawan when he talked about the lack of respect a couple of years ago. They'll do stuff like that.
But they're trying to be buddies, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because
they're the league's show. They're the league's like promotional show. That's what that show's about.
Yeah, and I understand that. Like, I don't love that. We're on during it.
Yeah, I don't watch it because I'm busy. My busiest hours are the morning.
Right, but I understand what that is. And Shane, I think, brings up before we move on to good news, and this is what our world is today. We live in a world where everyone is an expert. I believe that people are experts at certain things, but Nick Wright is not an expert at Tennessee Titan football. I don't claim for him to be.
No,
the problem is that that's what he says he is, right? He says that he can be a better GM than John Robinson, right?
Yeah. Right.
So that doesn't blend. It's not like, and I don't say this, I am not an expertise of the New York Giants. I know a handful of their players. I know a little bit about them, but I'm not sitting here saying Giants fans are delusional because Daniel Jones is going to be blah, 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 blah. So stay in your lane, right? And nobody does. So that, I think, brings up these conversations more often.
And Chris says Good Morning Football does give the Titans the most respect, only show that does that because they're the only show that gets paid to give respect to all 32 NFL teams.
And I think half the crew wants to get on the bus.
That's true. Half all the crew. Nate Burleson and Kyle Brandt are very talented. Kyle Brandt used to be a head writer for Jim Rome.
Well, that's why Burleson's on the CBS pregame show.
Correct. Nate Burleson's really good.
Nate Burleson. I like Nate Burleson.
I do too. A to Z Sports here live on a Friday, looking like Florida Georgia Line's bass guitarist, I guess, is what people are popping in and out of the show and be like, what the hell is Austin wearing?
You're just sipping on fire, man.
Is that another Florida Georgia line?
Oh, yeah.
I see. I know you've dropped in like several, but I don't catch them all because over my head, I don't pay attention to it.
You're just smooth.
Yeah, very smooth. A to Z Sports. Let's get to Ain't That Good News. Ain't That Good News right here on A to Z Sports to send us to the weekend, to send you guys to the weekend. But before we get to Ain't That Good News, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee, boneandjointtn.org. That's where you want to go. They're the region's destination for sports medicine and orthopedic care. Don't fumble on your recovery. Boneandjointtn.org is where to go. You see their beautiful building, brand new, a year old, right there in Franklin. Go check them out. You start your process of healing there and you end it. You go in for all the procedures. They have the surgery, the imaging right there on site. It's all in one building under one roof, and the rehab process as well. Boneandjointtn.org is where to go.
All right, good news. It's Ain't That Good News on Friday. We've had a good show so far. Look, back-to-back Titan show. We've had a lot of things happen this week, which have been awesome, right? Because we haven't had sports yet. I love we're getting more coverage of the NBA bubble, which makes me happy. I don't like what people are getting coronavirus, but it's not that at that rapid pace. But we're getting closer, guys, and that's not my good news. But that does kind of lead us into this segment every Friday.
Yeah. So you said you have two pieces of good news, right? So let's do a good news sandwich here, Zach. So you've got two. So I'll let you start, then I'll go, and then you'll finish.
All right, so I do not know her name, but shout out to an A to Z fan. All right, and I hope she's listening. She may be. On Monday, it was the first day we came back, right? That was the first day from our
from our 2 weeks off.
So we come back and she watches Joe quite a bit, but it's Christy from Hawaii. Mahala. You know what time it is in Hawaii?
When we start the show?
Well, right now.
Right now, I mean, it's 9 o'clock Central Time. What time is it in Hawaii?
4:11 a.m.
Yeah.
And when we start, it's in the 3 a.m. hour. And Christy watches. And I saw that, and I was like, that's freaking awesome. We've got Ian from across the pond that watches the show. A ton of people watch the show afterwards. But shout out to Christy, who watches us live from Hawaii, and you have to assume that she probably is a Titans fan, maybe because of Mariota, trying to connect some of those dots, but she stuck with us. You know, Mariota is sitting on the bench in a ball cap in Las Vegas. Now Ryan Tannehill, so that is very cool. I do not know her last name, but it's Christy with the C, and shout out to you. That was good news on a Monday coming back, that we have people from Hawaii that get up really early, and I don't know what she does. That's pretty awesome.
That is great news. Let's read some other good news here as well that I've seen you guys say. Max says, my cousin got engaged last night. That's great news. Cody says, my new name should be Kenny Skills in the outfit. That's
I like
funny.
that. I love that name.
Jeff, real name Jeff, says, I hope Austin has American flag pants on like the guy in Napoleon Dynamite. I do not. I have regular shorts on right now. Let's see. Ethan Ramsey says, the new bass guitarist, man dude.
That's good.
That is good as well. More good news. Let's see.
Oh, Christy is watching.
Christy's watching?
Yeah, 4:12 here in Hawaii. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, look at that. Love.
That is awesome.
David says, I've watched you guys from Germany, Pakistan, and Colorado. Always entertaining. That is awesome. So I want to bring up Ian from Scotland, because I saw Ian was watching the show earlier in today's show, and he says he's been working a lot all week, so he hasn't been able to catch us because we're like 3 o'clock in the afternoon for Ian in Scotland. So that's during the day. He usually says he watches our show at tea time, which is hilarious. So Ian is the guy behind this. Ian is the guy who said that Zach has to dress up as a Jimmy Buffett parrot head, and that I has to dress up as a Florida Georgia Line guy. And so I've got the bracelets, the rings, the bandana, the shades, the chain, the V-neck, the layers. I feel like I've done a fantastic job on this. So good news to Ian. That's not my actual good news. My real good news, Zach, is that I don't know if you've noticed, but the Nashville Predators have had 3 consecutive days at training camp, and they're going to have their 4th day of training camp today. And then they're going to play against the Dallas Stars in an exhibition at the very end of this month. And then they've got the actual qualifying round against Arizona coming back. And David Poyle says both Pekka and Saros look great. And guess what I did? Guess what I did? I knocked the dust off the Bovada account earlier this week. I went in there, Nashville Predators plus 4,500 to win the Stanley Cup. So I dropped a little change on that. So go Preds. Hockey's coming back. Let's do it. It's not a ton of money that I put on there, but I'm trying to win some cash. And the Preds have a great opportunity to do this because they're talented. They're healthy now. They're rested. Pekka, Saros, two good goalies. Let's do this.
That is great news. Let's read some more good news before we close this baby out. Texas Sports says good news. My dad had successful back surgery. Congratulations to him. That's awesome, especially in this time. Mookie says caught a 3-pound catfish the other day. I love fishing. That's kind of my new hobby. I got to get back out there. Seth says headed to the beach this week. But here's what I really want to get to. Now, Jared, you're going to have to expand on this of how this went down. Jared says, my girlfriend, all caps girlfriend of 2 years, proposed to me last night. So did the old switcheroo. I need to know what happened. Did you say yes? Did she have a ring? How does that work? I don't know. That's very interesting.
And and if you said yes, congratulations.
Right. And again, I don't know how the situation is. If you have a little details.
I'm guessing yes.
To put that out there, you would hopefully say yes. I think that's good news for you. The Preds thing coming back. We're getting back to I think we just need that little bit of normalcy of sports coming back. I think it's so impactful of the United States, right? The United States is infected. Let's just face it. Like the country is infected with the coronavirus. We need something to get us back to what it was like before we were infected. And I think sports can absolutely do that. Brian says the Rona kicked his ass July 1st through the 24th. Missed you guys the whole time. Brian, we hope you are well.
Does he mean June?
Yeah, because
we haven't got to July 24th yet.
Had to have been June. So this is my good news. All right. I found something, Austin, and I made fun of you for quite some time, probably about a year ago, because last summer was White Claw season.
Yes.
Big White Claw guy.
Yeah.
I was like out on White Claws. White Claws were nasty. I found something else though. And look, they're not paying me to say this. I just find them delicious. High Noons. Have you had a High Noon?
I have not.
They are the most delicious thing. And I am not a seltzer guy, but their vodka instead of malt like White Claws are, High Noons. You can only get them at liquor stores. But I'm going to be drinking some High Noons on Saturday. They are delectable. And they're kind of like a sneaky find.
Really?
Yes, you should go this, and I think your wife would like them too. So this weekend, go out to a liquor store, buy you some grapefruit High Noons.
Okay.
And they come in a 4-pack. You're not going to get smashed off of them unless you drink like 10 of them. But they are delicious.
So let's dive a little bit into this a little bit more. Like I just want like people to say thumbs up or thumbs down on seltzer in general.
But because High Noons are so much better than White Claws.
But are you willing? That's fine. But there's also Trulies, there's Henry's, there's other. I mean, there are plenty of options when it comes. Everybody's got seltzer. Bud Light's got seltzer. Corona's got seltzer. Everybody has seltzer. Are you thumbs up or are you thumbs down on the seltzers? Because I want to make a poll. Because obviously I'm thumbs up on the seltzer. Don't I look like a guy who's thumbs up on the seltzer right now? Will says, Bingham, you've been working out. You look huge, my man. But before,
thank you.
Before we get to your answers about the thumbs up or thumbs down on seltzer, let me tell you guys about Mandu a little bit. Mandu.com, your first workout is absolutely free, so check them out. Mandu.com for your first free workout. Our guy Big Joe had his first free workout earlier in the week. I'm going to text him today because it's 2 days after to see how sore Big Joe's going to be. But Mandu.com is where you need to go. It's a 15-minute workout. Full body electronic muscle stimulation. If you have injuries or joint pain or structural issues, this helps you. You're not loading your body with any weight, so it helps you out a lot. It's also perfect during the pandemic because it's by appointment only. Mandu.com.
So if you're trying to check your weight, thank you, Will, for checking my physique out and saying how big I am. I feel a lot bigger. I feel a lot better. But for the seltzer conversation is a lot of these seltzers have zero sugar. I was out on seltzers. Like, dude, come on, grow a pair. You're a seltzer guy. You're drinking White Claw. Go out and buy High Noons.
Okay.
I promise you, it will change your mind. They're made with real fruit juice. I feel like that is the caveat. You have liquor and fruit juice instead of the salted malt beverage. It's different and it's better.
So where I really bought into seltzers last year was that golf trip that I went on. That's when I truly was like, yeah, this is it. And so golf trip or golfing, when you're out on the lake, whenever you're somewhere that's hot, the seltzers come in great. So let's go through and do thumbs up. Kelkins is a thumbs up. Tress is thumbs up. Let's see more. Willie is thumbs down. Kevin says on lake days you want seltzer. Shrike says thumbs up, especially outdoors. Max, Jeff, David, 3 straight thumbs down.
Try High Noons.
Jesse says anything healthier. Jacob with a thumbs down. Shane says last year thumbs down. This year, thumbs up. They grew on him. Hunter says in Florida, he's thumbs up. Ethan, thumbs up. Chris is thumbs down. Louis down. Dom down. See, I don't really drink beer anymore because when I drink beer, I get headaches. I get when I drink seltzers, I don't get headaches the next day. And so I've just said, you know what? Screw the headaches. I'm just going to go with the seltzers. The seltzers, less of a hangover. So the seltzers is where I go.
Yeah, so that was my good news, the discovery. And that happened to me when I went to the beach. I think it's hilarious when I tell people I went to the beach because half of the people look like I'm a psychopath because of the coronavirus. And they're like, oh, you're infected? And then and then I just kind of play into it. Yeah, I actually went to the beach twice. And then they're like, oh, what? Where? The beach. I found the High Noons and game changer. Hot day on the beach. You can't beat it.
Seltzers are great. Jesse says somebody said that I look like I drink Voss water.
No, you're a big guy when you go right now. You're a guy that when you go sit down at a restaurant and they come up and they're like, would you like tap, distilled or sparkling? You go sparkling every time. And it's just sparkling water. The green bottle and they come out. It's like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, Rob says that was him. So I got to give Rob some credit for the Voss water thing. So I think my favorite part of this entire outfit is actually the bead bracelet.
And you can't do the show like this. You know?
I can't. Like I get the bead bracelet. This thing right here is actually, it looks like a bracelet, but it actually checks the temperature of wine bottles. And it tells you where reds, rosés, and whites are supposed to be for temperature.
Well, see, that's one of those things. That's a new thing. It's like, I've got a monkey tool that you can do everything with. You start wearing that, Austin, and you're at dinner parties, wine. It's a great conversation.
I'm not going to wear this. This isn't to wear. Now, my temperature goes off of the scale on this because it only goes up to 75 degrees, which is where the reds are supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
and you burn a little hotter than that.
Yeah, that's for sure. I also thank you to my wife for letting me borrow one of her necklaces this morning. See, I think I did good. I think overall, when you look at these two guys, I think I'm the blend of these two guys.
I agree.
Minus the sleeves.
Right. Minus the sleeves, but you pulled it off. So, hey, thank you for your participation for the FGL bass guitarist, Kenny Skills. I love that name. That is your name. I like it. So shout out to whoever created or invented that. And shout out to this week. Look, let's completely end on good news. This has been an awesome week back. We took 2 weeks off and we came back and our audience just infiltrated these shows, and it was awesome. So props to all of you guys. We have so much more in the burner that will be released over the next several weeks that I cannot wait to unveil. It is going to be awesome. Awesome. So shout out to you. Great week of work, and have a great weekend. This is Good Friday.
Yes, for sure. Unveil, Zach. Unveil.
I hate that. It's the worst. And I caught myself in just common conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I said veal, but I was like, I can't correct myself because the person I'm talking to doesn't care that I got that wrong.
Also, Danny says he has a great magic bucket list idea about to slide the DMs. If you have magic bucket ideas, send them to us, whether it's DM on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or email, whatever. Send us these ideas because we need to print off more for next week's Magic Bucket. That is now sponsored by BioPure Music City. So appreciate that as well. So thanks, guys, for watching. Have a great weekend. Buck's got something coming up, a little special later on in the day today. So stay tuned to your phones. Keep those notifications on. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.
Adios.